The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. The President says the KDU is providing excellent training and knowledge to cadet officers. Parliamentarian Major Pradeep Udugoda states that former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has full rights to come and live in Sri Lanka. The CEB says Unit 1 of the Lak Vijaya power plant in Norochole will be reconnected to the national grid next week. Sri Lanka is to receive a donation of emergency medicines worth $4 million by the World Health Organization. The SLBC has taken measures to provide a helping hand to promote renewable energy projects in Sri Lanka. Solar Industries Association of Sri Lanka says that their aim is to provide 3,000 megawatts to the national grid through rooftop solar panels. And on international news, Biden cancels $10,000 in student debt for millions. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says Kothalavel Defence University KDU is providing excellent training and knowledge to the cadet officers. He stresses that our military heroes should be equipped with the practical knowledge to enable them to fight with the future technical war affairs. He said future war affairs will not only materialize in the seas or ground but probably occur in cyberspace. He made these remarks delivering the keynote address at the Colours awarding ceremony at KDU in this evening. The KDU was awarded with the President's Colours and University Colours, and it was awarded at a function held at the KDU premises this evening. The President added that in order to make a successful army, they should be provided with better knowledge, discipline and also better training. He said the KDU is now providing all these to provide a better military officer to the island. Parliamentarian Major Pradeep Udugoda states that former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has full rights to come to Sri Lanka. At a media briefing held in Colombo this evening, he said there are no allegations on bribery or corruption for the former president. He said the general public was suffering from the economic crisis and some political opponents tried to get maximum benefit out of the situation through the protest known as the Aragalaya. The Ceylon Electricity Board CEB says Unit 1 of the Lak Vijaya power plant in Norochole will be reconnected to the national grid by next week. Lak Vijaya power plant has remained inoperative since last week. CEB's media spokesperson Andrew Navamani said the repairs of the generator is expected to be completed by next Monday. IT said owing to the malfunction, the duration of daily power interruptions were also extended to 3 hours. After Unit 1 is back in operation, 300 megawatts of electricity will be added to the national grid. Sri Lanka will receive a donation of emergency medicines and other medical supplies worth $4 million by the World Health Organization. The Director General of the WHO, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, issuing a congratulatory message to the President, Ranil Wickremesinghe, has said the preliminary procurement work has already begun in this regard and the Sri Lankan office of the WHO will inform further details in this regard shortly. The UN Health Agency's chief said he has asked the WHO Health Emergencies Program to take immediate action to meet the most urgent health needs of the people of Sri Lanka. He has stated that the WHO recognizes the ongoing economic pressure Sri Lanka is facing, in addition to COVID-19 related pressure on the health system. The WHO chief has also assured that the organization is closely monitoring the situation in Sri Lanka. The Director General of the WHO added that they will provide technical assistance to promote provincial health services in Sri Lanka. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation has taken measures to provide a helping hand to promote renewable energy projects in Sri Lanka. Accordingly, the SLBC will provide a plot of land to build a 100 megawatt renewable power plant at Kochuveli, Trincomalee. The Memorandum of Understanding, the MOU regarding the project, was signed with the Vice Chairman of the 3-Watt Power Management Limited, Indika Kumaravira Kodi, and Chairman of the SLBC, Hudson Samarasinghe, this morning. The Cabinet approval for the project has been granted on the 18th of January this year. Construction work of the project will initiate shortly, and the operation of the plant will commence middle of next year, and it will provide 100 megawatts for the national grid. Solar Industries Association of Sri Lanka says that their aim is to provide 3,000 megawatts to the national grid through rooftop solar panels. The secretary of the association, Lakmal Fernando, says that they are providing 600 megawatts to the national grid at the moment. There are over 40,000 solar power users throughout the island. The aim of the association is to increase the number up to 1 million. He also said that association commends the government for providing a helping hand to promote the industry in the country. That ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Ceylon Electricity Board, CEB, says Unit 1 of the Lak Vijay power plant in Norochole will be reconnected to the national grid by next week. The Lak Vijay power plant has remained inoperative since last week. CEB's media spokesman Andrew Navamani said the repairs of the generator are expected to be completed by next Monday. IT said owing to the malfunction, the duration of the daily power interruptions were also extended to 3 hours. After Unit 1 is back in operation, 300 megawatts of electricity will be added to the national grid. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
A Strength to Your Life. CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable gifts and all bills are on 31st of October. Come to CIB today.
And on Watch Light tonight, health experts today urge the people to obtain the booster dose of the COVID-19 vaccine without delay, as the current stock of vaccines are set to expire by October 31st. The chief epidemiologist, Dr. Samita Ginige, says that there are ample stocks of vaccines in the country right now, as the total requirement of the booster doses for people over 20 years had been procured. He said people over 20 years of age are still to obtain the booster dose, and it is vital to obtain the booster dose to prevent the new variant spreading at present. That came to you in Watchlight.
A Strength to Your Life. CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable gifts and all bills are on 31st of October. Come to CIB today.
Coming up, world news and the headlines first. Biden cancels $10,000 in student debt for millions. Ukraine says a Russian rocket strike on a railway station killed 25 people. Thousands of Facebook users around the world reported issues with their news feeds. The US President Joe Biden will cancel up to $10,000 in federal student loans for millions of Americans who earn less than $125,000 each year. Mr. Biden will also forgive $20,000 of debt for students on Pell Grants, which applies to those in greatest financial need. An estimated 43 million Americans owe a combined total of $1.6 trillion in federal student debt. Nearly one-fifth owe less than $10,000. The temporary student loan pause, first put in place in March 2020, will also be extended a final time until 31st December of this year. Speaking from the White House on Wednesday, Mr. Biden said his plan would give more breathing room to working and middle-class families. A Russian rocket strike at a railway station killed 25 people, Ukraine says, on the day marking 6 months since Moscow's invasion began. 5 of the victims of the attack in the eastern town of Chaplin burnt to death in a vehicle. Officials said 2 boys aged 6 and 11 were also killed. President Vladimir Zelensky reported the strike during a UN Security Council meeting. A further 31 people were hurt. Russia said it hit a military train, killing hundreds of Ukrainian troops. Ukraine has made no mention of military deaths in the strike. However, Moscow has repeatedly denied targeting civilian infrastructure. Speaking on Thursday, UN Human Rights Commissioner Michelle Bachelet called on Russia's president to halt armed attacks on Ukraine. Thousands of Facebook users around the world reported issues with their news feeds on Wednesday as a glitch appeared to boost posts to celebrity fan pages and groups to the top of timelines. Many reacted to the glitch with memes mocking Facebook. Meta, Facebook's parent company, apologized for any inconvenience and said the issue was resolved. A spokesperson has told the BBC that a configuration change caused some people to have trouble with their Facebook feed on that morning, and they had resolved the issue as quickly as possible for everyone who was impacted. Back to the world news headlines. Biden cancels $10,000 in student debt for millions. Ukraine says a Russian rocket strike on a railway station killed 25 people. Thousands of Facebook users around the world reported issues with their news feeds. That ends World News. Continuing with development news, the Minister of Agriculture, Wildlife and Forest Resources Conservation, Mahinda Amaraveera, says that a program has been implemented to locally produce the rice needed by the country and make the country self-sufficient. These facts were disclosed in the special news conference held at the Government Information Department Auditorium to inform the public about the fertilizer distribution program and popularization of maize cultivation in the Yala and Maha seasons. The minister stated that the domestic paddy production is sufficient to produce rice needed for domestic consumption, and if all the relevant parties cooperate, this goal to be self-sufficient can be reached quickly. That came to you in development news.
Sports news is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Former England flanker Jo Brown will make her Ireland debut in Saturday's second test against Japan in Tokyo. Brown, 28, earned 7 England caps before opting to switch international allegiance to Ireland this summer. Worcester flanker Brown and Grace Moore replace injured Dorothy Wall and Sam Monaghan in the pack, with Lauren Feely taking over at prop from Katie O'Dowd. Positional changes see Hannah O'Connor moving from the back row to lock and Linda Duane switching prop berths. Ireland recovered from trailing by 15 points early on to earn a thumping 57-22 win in the first test in Suzuka. Jess Keating and Amy Tilley are in line to join Brown in earnings with first caps after being named on the bench. Under World Rugby's new eligibility rules, Brown, who has Irish ancestry, is available to Ireland, having not featured for England since 2019. Christy Haney and Nicole Crorin, who came on as replacements last weekend, are ruled out of Saturday's game because of injury. That ends sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Hemas Holdings PLC and its subsidiary Hemas Manufacturing Private Limited signed memorandums of understanding with Clean Ocean Force Lanka to protect Sri Lanka's natural environment through sustainable and responsible operations relating to the disposal of plastic waste. The MOUs will allow the two parties to collaborate on a beach caretaker project in Puruthota Beach and a cleanup of Negombo Lagoon to combat plastic pollution in sensitive areas of the Negombo region for a more sustainable future. Hemas Holdings PLC said the aim of these initiatives is to maximize the recovery of ocean plastics, PET bottles and other pollutants that wash into the Indian Ocean via the Maha-Oya Lagoon. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And now on economic news, the Tourism Promotion Bureau is expected to conduct a series of programs to promote tourism in Sri Lanka. A delegation headed by Minister Harin Fernando has engaged in a tour in India these days to attract more Indian tourists to Sri Lanka. The minister said many problems existed in the country have now been solved. There is a better environment for the tourism in Sri Lanka at present. The minister says the government hopes to attract around 1 million tourists to the country during the coming months. The government expects to earn $2 billion from tourism during this year. That ends economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.